Hi, it is January the 11th, 2022. So today was my first day off Twitter since my ban, and I have to say that it was a pretty damn good day. So I made a video this morning about the fact that I got banned from Twitter for expressing my hatred towards the COVID cult. But even though they banned me and they removed that viewpoint from being voiced and expressed, the sentiment that inspired that expression remains. And I think at this point it would be good to talk about hatred and what that actually means. Because I think a lot of people mix up hatred and resentment or anger. But these are really two very different things. Resentment or anger, that is where you are upset because someone else is behaving in a way that you don't like. And you want them to change, and so you're mad about it. You're emotionally invested. You want them to do this, they're not doing it. And it creates feelings of resentment, of you're the problem, you need to fix yourself, basically, is the mindset of that. Now, that's something that I find to be a spiritual problem, in that when that happens, if I'm struggling with, wow, I wish you would behave better, that is a spiritual problem for me. Because the truth is, the reality I live in is that people are going to do what people are going to do. And I'm unable to influence that action. And that's something I've discovered and learned. And so for me, I have to get to a place of acceptance with regard to other people's behavior. I have to understand that I cannot change the way that they behave. So if I'm feeling resentment or anger, that's a spiritual issue. But hatred is something very different. Hatred means you want them to suffer. That means that actually your motive isn't, I want you to change your behavior, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. What you actually want is for them to suffer. That actually they have committed crimes that you consider egregious enough that you want them to suffer for those crimes. And that is where I am with regard to the COVID cult. I actually want those people to suffer. And so there are different types of suffering. There's physical suffering, and then there's emotional suffering. And the physical suffering, I feel like I don't really need to do anything because they've kind of already guaranteed themselves that through their ignorance and their refusal to understand economics. They've already insured for, not just that. Okay, so part of this is I'm not the only individual on this planet, I'm very confident, who feels this emotion of hatred. So I believe this is something that a lot of people are feeling right now. And some of those people, different people are going to react different ways to hatred. Recall that it means you want the object of your hatred to suffer. You actually want them to feel pain. So some people who feel hatred might think, okay, I want to make them physically suffer, right? So that's something that those people have to be aware of, but I don't have any intention of physically assaulting anyone or using violence towards anyone or threatening anyone with violence. That's not how I want to direct my hatred, because I'm an intelligent person, and I'm not looking to violate the rules of our society. and give the government an excuse to use violence against me. So the suffering that I'm looking to impart is emotional. I want them to know what I have felt. I want them to know the pain that they have caused me. And it's a lot of fucking pain. So, to make someone suffer emotionally, you have to do what was done to me. You have to show them that there's something greater than what they know, and then you have to take it away from them like a cruel piece of shit. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take from you that little thing that you cling on to, that is the entire basis of your self-worth, your self-respect, and your ego. So I'm going to destroy your ego. I'm going to destroy you emotionally, and you're probably going to wake up feeling like you simply do not want to be here anymore. And if you choose not to be here, I'm going to be okay with that, because I don't care about you. Because your life isn't relevant to me. Because I hate you. The only thing I want for you is for you to suffer. And so my intention is to make you suffer. But to do so on an emotional level. And you might just have to wait and find out what that means. But you will find out. So I'm actually happy not being on Twitter. Because, you know, I don't like the way you gotta regulate your speech on there to begin with. I don't like the way they've silenced people to begin with. And to be frank, I don't really like most of the people I've met on there, including people in the freedom movement, who seem just as fucking closed-minded and full of their own fucking egos and willing to bully other people for the sake of social approval as the people in the fucking other clique. So it's no great loss for me. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be back on there. It said it was a 10-day suspension, but you might have to delete the offending comment to have that suspension removed. And that's something I'm not willing to do, because that's something I want to leave out there for those people to think about. Because those people have very misplaced ideas about the emotions that they're inspiring and the effect of the actions that they've taken. So these people, if you asked them, they would lie. They would lie and they would say, I'm doing this because I believe in some kind of greater good. But if you really pushed them, if they really decided they were going to be honest, what they would tell you is, I am acting this way because I want to incite you, because I want to inspire anger and resentment so that you take an action that you're going to get in trouble for, so that you will suffer. Because their ideology is and always has been based on hatred. Now, even though that's the truth, as they would see it if they were honest with themselves, it's still not the actual truth as far as what they've actually done, because they're just not aware, they're not empathetic people, and they're not people who understand the emotions that they inspire in other people. What they have inspired is not resentment. What they have inspired is hatred. they haven't been successful in inciting violence or anger or whatever it is they've been trying to incite. But what they have been successful in doing is creating a very strong feeling of hatred that is very widespread and very powerful. So I am actually being of service to them through expressing my feelings of hatred, because it should be making them aware that that sentiment exists. However, like I said, these are not empathetic people. These aren't people who listen to me. These aren't people who take me seriously. And therefore, what's going to happen is just going to happen. And until it happens, they're just going to remain ignorant and unaware. Now, I've been in contact with a billboard owner talking about getting a billboard up for advertising my website. And by my estimation, this billboard will probably be visible to about 250,000 cars if I have it up there for a month. And I'm talking about doing it for a month-long trial, seeing how much traffic I can generate to my website, and if it's a success, maybe I'll then renew for future months. So it is an investment if I do it, but I do believe it will get a lot of people's attention, and I don't know how many books I might sell from this, but even getting people to the website, getting them to visit some of those channels, making them aware of the information that exists out there, I believe is a great service. And it's something I'm happy to do, because I don't believe that most people are part of that cult. I think most people are just neutral kind of observers, and if you really talked with them, they'd say this is all bullshit, and I'm trying to keep the peace by not bringing it up. It's those people, they're weak, but I don't hate them in the sense that I want them to suffer. I would like it if they grew a set of testicles. I would like it if they became men, and actually started doing something in this world to make it a better world. But they're not the ones who are actively trying to make me suffer, and who have been for this past few years. They're not the ones that are murdering fucking children and babies because they're bloodthirsty pieces of shit. They're not the ones sucking the fucking cock of Big Fucking Pharma because they're submissive little bitches who have no real authority in this fucking world, so they want to try to use force of government to control other people, to make them conform, because they lack the intellectual, spiritual, or emotional capacity to accomplish the things they want in this world. Those pieces of shit, you're the ones I fucking hate, guys. And anyone who's out there promoting the vaccine at this point fits into that. That is culpable, as far as I'm concerned. And there will be fucking hell to pay. And it'll be good for you, man. Emotional pain is different to physical pain, because Emotional pain, you can heal. If you shed enough tears, and it might take months, it might take years. It might take a real long fucking time like it has with me. But eventually, you'll fucking heal if you don't kill your fucking self. And what percentage of these fucking people won't do that? I don't know. Maybe some of them will find a reason to stay here. Maybe they got kids or something. Or maybe they'll just see what I'm going to show them that they don't have. And maybe seeing that will be enough to simply for selfish reasons convince them that they want to remain alive. But it's going to be a long fucking road, kid. You know, it's fine, man. People have made their choices, you know. They've placed their bets where they've placed them. They've chosen the people that they've chosen to associate themselves with. And they've made their decisions. The pain that will follow those decisions is a lesson for them. Hopefully, they learn that lesson and someday redeem themselves. Someday atone and make amends and try to set right some of the harm that they've caused. Maybe someday, if they do that, my feelings of hatred will diminish. But it's hard to envision a day when that shit happens. Because, you know, this is their whole ego. Every decision they've made for years has just been based on appeasing it. Yeah, I feel really good not being on Twitter. I really was getting to dislike some people on Twitter. People in the freedom community, to be honest. Because they just seem so fucking cruel. It's like, I'm not about it, dude. I'm a good guy. I'm a kind guy. I think that's the other thing. You know, this billboard I'm doing, it's going to say discover love. That's all it's going to say, discover love, and it's going to give them my website. So they're not going to have a fucking clue what it's about. They're not going to know it's about inflation or global issues or government or any of that. All they're going to think is, oh, I want love. Or, wow, what's this crazy thing? Let me figure out what this is. And then they'll go there and they can figure it out, dude. So, you know, because these people in this clique, that's the superficial shit they tell themselves. That they're somehow on the side of kindness. That they somehow have compassion. It's like, you're entirely fucking bankrupt spiritually, emotionally, soon financially, most of them. And you aren't love. You aren't kindness. If you were, you wouldn't abandon me, would you? You wouldn't be a bullying piece of garbage, would you? You wouldn't find it necessary to silence people for expressing themselves. It's like this one jackass on Gab. You know, there's a few jackasses who make their way over there. Some fucking stupid leftist trying to fucking morally talk down all these people, just acting like a real piece of shit. And I said a few words. I said, I just told him he's in a fucking cult, that it's a death fucking cult. And I gave him good reasons to evidence that that's the case. And, I guess I'm good, man. You know? I guess I'm just feeling good, man. I got my improv class tomorrow. Tax season's ramping up pretty soon here. And I think good things are going to lay in store for me. So I'll talk to you guys later.